Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So today we are doing a girl talk. I'm about to be braiding my hair and I thought, yeah, let's do some chit chat because I definitely think girls as a community, women, we need to be a little together right now because I don't know what the F is happening, especially black women. We are here together right now, so we're just gonna have some girl talk and I'm very excited. Let's get into it. I'm using some Shine and Jam for my braiding, and then I separated a bunch of pieces on the floor. The colors that I have are M4 and 30. That's a mix. That's what I most recently just had, and then I had some 613 I just wanted to throw in there. I'm pretty serious about a lot of things, but especially my ethics and morals. So I just want to be clear that if you are on this channel, my morals do lie with people like me, black women, and take that as you will. But just as a reminder, because I'm literally here for my people, but I'm literally rooting for everyone who's black, like Issa Rae said, but I'm also rooting for people who are like-minded individuals like me. So that's what that is. I think a big thing as women that we low-key kind of, to each their own, but one thing that I do as a woman in particular is make sure my moral high ground is really in check with a partner and a person that I'm dating. Not to jump straight into, boy talk, girl talk, whatever, but that's a huge thing of who you're around does impact your decisions and kind of reflects on the type of person you are. I truly believe we are who we hang around with, family aside, because you can't pick your family. I mean, I love my family down, but still, you can't pick your family. But girl, it's really something, and I feel that's just for starters of not everyone has to be the closest to you. Obviously we have to get along with people and stuff throughout day-to-day life, but the people who you choose is super important. So especially if you are younger, I would say to take that in as best as you can. I'm pretty a committed person to my friendships, so I would never question that I'm a good friend, because I know that I am. I've had bad friends in the past, unfortunately, but it really has showed me kind of strength and just how to be better. Close best friends, you have friends in passing and then you're okay, we're not too in tune with each other, perfectly fine. Best friends is a whole different route of that's who you're talking to every day. What are you doing if you're not on the same page? Honestly, trying to choose a partner who is with that, who does have moral capabilities and kind of knowing what they do and don't like. For starters, I like to think I have really good discernment of the people I decide to even consider taking into my inner circle. I don't play. I really don't play. I'm pretty strict, but I don't think anything that I'm asking for is a lot, and I feel that's definitely something for a lot of people to consider. We're gonna jump back to that, but I don't play about homophobia, transphobia, xenophobia. I don't play in specifically racism, let's be for real, but yeah, and fat phobia is insane. I don't know. So it's a lot of factors when deciding to pick a person and kind of vetting them. I think that's super important, but I also feel people don't vet people how they used to. And then even another huge thing to consider for me is also spirituality, religion, beliefs. I feel in this life, this is just the type of person I am, okay? So if you're here and you're liking what I'm saying, please stay. If you're not, please go, because this is just who I am. But spirituality, sense, and life is, we're all gonna pass. This is just where we're at in this time and place right now. And when you are in this position, it's like, this is where you are. And I think the best option is trying to make the most out of it, specifically with who you can have choice to befriend and have in your life. I feel like that's very important. If that means you're going to be alone, then I urge you to be okay with that, but also realize that there are people like you. I think that's something that we tend to forget as humans, kind of thinking that we're the only one dealing with something, and that's never the case. Not to like invalidate how you feel, but in therapy I definitely learned, she was like, I have certain ideas and things that I was saying out loud, and she's like, there's definitely a community for you, in the sense of like people who like to have these deep conversations that I don't really consider deep, but they are pretty heavy, I'd say, for the average person. But like consciousness conversations and stuff like that, like there is my community out there, and there are people who are open to see my ideas. I never thought that, because I kind of felt like an outcast for always, like, people, I feel like some people think that that's being a Debbie Downer, or like, it's not for me. So, you know, it's just what it is. But I do have very existential questions and consciousness and spirituality. And a big thing that I had to learn is how to cater that for myself, because I haven't found those people yet specifically. Of course, I've had conversations about it here and there with everyone in my life, because they are in-depth people like that. But I feel like it is something that's constantly on my mind. So I'm like, all right, I am the only one kind of thinking like this right now. But yeah, I definitely have, like, I just think I've gotten comfortable with being uncomfortable with people not really being my cup of tea. And that's something that I've like had to kind of curate for myself, of, okay, like I have it for myself. And you know, it's a lot of delusion, but also very realness happening, because I'm not going to force anyone to have conversations that I gravitate towards at all. I'm not going to force anyone to do that, because you're just not for me in that sense. But also, like, I made a habit of being excited about the conversations that I'm having, and I don't like being downplayed or ignored, especially in I know to take a step back when I can see that, oh, you're not that type of person. So that's just that on that. Say that to say, try to find people or be okay by yourself with things and concepts that you like on your own. Like, it's so hard to be alone, and it's so easy to feel alone. So, you know, take it with a grain of salt. I know that at the end of the day, it's me. I'm the one who understands me the most, and I take comfort in that deeply. So that's just my theories. And I feel like on the outside looking in, or like just in school and stuff, I've kind of been labeled as shy, but I'm really not that shy. It's more so the initiation process, and I feel like a lot of people can relate to that. Yeah, they kind of have a personality that's easily received, and I feel like you know if you're one of those people or not. Like, you just know. But I know that I am not easily received in a way, and I used to take offense to that, but I take great comfort in it. And I'm gonna keep saying that, is that, like, I feel like I've had a lot of situations that have really built my character in the best way. This is really for the girls who feel like me. I feel like a lot of black girls relate to this too, kind of not seeming inviting or something of the sort, or maybe too shy. But like, how can you be shy because you're a black girl? You know what I mean? So it's just a lot of things. And yeah, that question definitely went on a tangent. So one thing I really want to talk about is like confidence. This is kind of just like a tell-all. But I was like my only black friend in my friend group, so they all had boyfriends at the same time, different points, whatever the case, and I didn't. And you know, when the opportunity presented itself, it wasn't with anyone that I was interested in either. And it's just crazy because a lot of that could have, and it did, make me feel some type of way growing up, and kind of made me have this guard up of, oh, no one kind of wants to speak to me and all these different things. No one ever really called me pretty or anything growing up. Like, that just wasn't the first thing that happened, like, in school, especially at a predominantly, like, white school. It wasn't necessarily white, it was diverse, but I wasn't with a lot of black people. So that does a lot to a person's self-confidence, and mine specifically. If you relate, let me know. But I've really had to build a lot of confidence for myself, and I'm so grateful for it, because I know how to stand on business that I see a lot of people don't. And I'm like, okay, this was all for the better. I am 22, but it's like, girl, you haven't dated anyone your whole life, and so forth. And it's just like, it's so easy to feel alone in that. So I just want to reiterate, you have to be your biggest supporter. You have to be strong for yourself in those situations as well. I know it's hard, but you just got to do it. And I've done it, and look at me. Like, I know I'm bad. I put in the work. I'm mentally there. Anyone coming into my life is 100% an addition, because I have put in the work, which is crazy. And I know not everyone, it's not me to brag or anything about putting in the work, but it's just a process, and there's more work to be done, and I'm so grateful for it. And I just feel like we need to be like doing that a lot more as a group. And it's crazy because like I feel like I have the best confidence like pretty much now in my life. Like, I'm pretty down and open to do a lot of things because I have instilled that confidence in me. And then I know plenty of people who have, there's so many different sides and levels to being a woman, but also being a person. Hello. But specifically, I've had friends who've dated multiple people and stuff, and you can tell that they may lack a certain confidence. Or people who haven't dated anyone and they still lack that confidence. And I think it's like, obviously we're all on our own journey, and it's like a personal, like, kind of project to really instill that in yourself a little bit. But I feel like sometimes it's easily distracted by wanting something more relationship wise, and like kind of being tired of like taking care of yourself. Yeah, it's really sad because it's like you were there all along being your beautiful, perfect self. So why don't you have any, like, you know, general, like, you know, and that's how you just really know that everything is really that personal for everyone, just in the way that a person carries themselves. And I don't mean to kind of focus on the relationship part. That's just the part right now. There is nothing wrong with wanting a partner and like kind of wanting to feel appreciated and feeling beautiful for someone, and then also feeling that for yourself. There's nothing wrong with that. And I just feel like people kind of overcomplicate the fact that you do have to love yourself before someone else loves you, and whatever that means, whether that means you're showing up for yourself in small ways, or you're saying no, you know, saying no to certain things, setting boundaries. I don't think that means like, oh, you have to go to the gym every day and like you have to do your makeup, or don't do makeup at all because you don't love yourself enough. Like that's all semantics. Those are details, minor. I think people get so confused with surface level things, when loving yourself is kind of those things that no one's seeing. When you just show up for yourself in small ways, you know, like you can be perfectly happy by yourself or in a relationship. You can still hate yourself and be in a relationship, and hate yourself and not be in a relationship. Like, everyone's so mixed on these things that are so surface level because no one is thinking deeply. The critical thinking skills aren't there sometimes. And I don't mean that to be offensive or anything. I'm just like it's genuinely just not meant for you to understand, or it happens in your own timing of understanding. But yeah, we're decentering men, all that jazz. And on the decentering men topic, actually, is really just kind of funny, because I just think that it definitely needs to happen for people who, because I see it. I feel like I've been in a position like that, but I would never have, that's just not who I am, to have ever gotten that boy crazy, actually, to the point that they're actually my complete focus. Like, I really appreciate my time by myself now, and I never thought I would have said that, because I was like, oh, I can't wait to like have a place with my person. I'm so excited to have a place by myself. Like, it's crazy how like maturing, but also just seeing things for what they are. And the fact is that you deserve the love and appreciation from anyone you choose. But I feel like it's kind of a lot of object of affection, kind of objectifying, not objectifying, but kind of romanticizing this ideal person, and then you're projecting all of your things onto them of what they could be, and then they're not, and then that disappoints you. When I think when you accept things for what they are, then you can really appreciate them, and then it kind of takes you away from the situation, and then you're just in a fulfilling relationship, you know? Like, just because you're dating someone doesn't mean you're centering men, you know what I mean? But that aside, we're gonna talk about my dating life. There isn't one. I've never dated anyone, and it's kind of crazy, because I'm like, girl, Sahara Desert, you know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. It's definitely something I'm looking forward to, but my 18-year-old self was definitely on Tinder during COVID, just vibing, talking to people, kind of experimenting. And yeah, I recommend it. No, I don't recommend it. You know, it's kind of both sides of a coin, because I did talk to like my first person that I was actually very interested in, and that did something to my brain. You know, it scratched a part of it, feeling seen, and then getting treated like crap. You know what I mean? Like, over a phone that my mom pays, like, which is so crazy. It's like, you really accept these things because you're so wanting it. And that's one of the biggest things I've realized, is that, girl, I don't want it that bad. Promise. Yeah, it's just crazy, because like, genuinely, over the past few years, my type has morphed crazy. I've always wanted someone a bit of me, and I've said this all my life, is that I really appreciate who I am and my morals and my beliefs and the way that I do take care of myself. So I would want that of someone, because I already do it for myself. I expect that of myself, so I expect it of other people. I wonder sometimes that since I do have these expectations of myself, kind of projected onto people, but in a good way, not in a trying to control their life way, but in a way that I'm like, yeah, you're not gonna cut it. Not you're not gonna cut it because look at me, but you're not gonna cut it, look at me. I mean that in like any harsh way toward any person, you know? It's just like I said, and I always say, I am putting in the work on myself, so why would I expect anything less from anyone else in my life? I used to be into like a super chill fella, if you know what I mean, but no, I want nothing chill about I'm just playing. No, but I definitely want them to be chilled out. Like I said, my beliefs are very important to me, especially morally and spiritually, what we do in this life, and then once we leave this life, you know? So those are very important to me, and I like to think I kind of radiate what I would like to receive, and that's how maybe why I get no action in my love life. But I also think the dating scene is actually hit. I think sometimes like boundaries and saying no is very difficult for a girl, and that's the type of person that I want to be, is kind of like, I think I'm pretty strict on my rules and stuff, but I need to be strict on my boundaries of knowing. I like to think I have a lot of discernment, when choosing a partner or kind of just seeing someone initially. And I know like I'm saying discernment, but I feel like it's like true. Like I'm not trying to be like, oh, I'm just judging them. I just don't want to be in positions I don't want to, and that is my right, you know what I mean? And I feel like especially if your gut has a feeling, you should lean into that of like, no, I don't want to talk to this person. Then all you have to do is say no. See, me saying all you have to do is say no, it's kind of crazy, but it does make you feel some type of way, especially if they are like a reoccurring character, like at your job, at your school, whatever the case. But you really have to be like, you have to stand on all 10 toes and be okay with your decision, be happy about it even, and just like say no. And that is something I really want to grow to be better. Like, I know I'm so young. It's crazy. I'm so young. And I can only imagine the type of woman I'm going to grow into be. And like me just being the girl of my dreams already. Like, I think it's so important to especially set goals for yourself as a girl in your just like day to day. Like, one of my biggest goals is boundaries. And kind of like being a little bit more of an a-hole. And y'all, don't take that the wrong way. Like, I genuinely am very kind, and I like know that I start off with a smile. It's just in my nature, and it's kind of how I start. And I feel like sometimes people can take advantage of that or take it for granted, which is crazy because kindness should just be automatic, but whatever. Like, some of these people who I meet like at work and stuff, they're not owed my smiles. And I know like kindness is like it's free. Kindness is free. Like, why would you not? But it's once I initially do it and then they give nothing, it's like, okay, I'm a little bit taken back. But like, I don't think that is a room for you to, you know, just be a a-hole just because, oh, they didn't treat me right, so I'm not going to treat them right. But also kind of, yeah, like, I think that makes sense. Shoot the messenger. Like, I think that does make sense. Like, if someone's like being rude, you know, then I'm not gonna take that. Like, I don't play, because people really do try to play in your face kind of often. I just want to be about it in a way that it's like, okay, yeah, like, you better know that you're not like, this is I went on a date like a year and a half ago, and that was very good. The person that I actually did go with, I did meet on Hinge, and I vetted them for sure. And they're like my type, morale-wise, creative and everything. But when we went on the date, I felt like absolutely no chemistry. And I feel like that's something a lot of people don't talk about, is how you can love someone's mind and all that, but if the chemistry's not there, it's not there. And personally, I feel like that is one of the most important things to me. Like, I can't be looking at you and be like, oh my gosh, like, where did I go wrong? This sounds like an a-hole, but I'ma just be real. Like, nothing is wrong with how they look. Obviously, I was attracted to them to an extent when I see their picture on Hinge or when I see them in person, you know? But then it's just like things adding up, and I'm just like, oh, you're not my baby, you know? And I think that sometimes we talk ourselves or like, okay, he's so kind to me, blah blah blah, like, no one's ever gonna do that for me, but someone definitely will. Yeah, like, I don't know what anybody got going on. All I know is that if I don't like anyone, I'm like, physically, and I know looks go away, but we're here right now and you see what you see. And yeah, like, I feel like that's very important, because it is to me, as far as like when you get intimate and stuff, and like just like the habits that they do. Because if someone starts to do something that's annoying to you, you're gonna be like, oh, they're ugly too. Like, it happens all the time. Like, I have a sister, bro, I'm the youngest, but my sister has been through a lot, and I've reflect it. And I like to think that's why I am like right here talking to you guys like this, because I'm like, girl, I feel like I've been through the ringer. Like, I know some things, like, you know what I mean? Okay, so I see a question online that is how to cope with anxiety. So I'm a very anxious girly. I used to be a lot more anxious, and I had panic attacks pretty often, and it was just crazy. My biggest solution was therapy, and also alone time to kind of figure out your emotions for yourself. Not that anything was terrible, but at home was loud for me. Like, even if more than 2 people are speaking, that's loud for me. Like, I can't really take it very well. It does overstimulate me. So one thing that I definitely started to do often was go to the movies alone. I think that's therapy in itself. If you know, you know. But if you haven't, definitely try it. For day-to-day anxiety, you really have to breathe in and breathe out. Walk myself kind of through what's happening. The person's gonna walk up and they're gonna say hello, you know? Like, and that's the worst of it, is gonna be a person walks up to you and says hello and you say hello back. And that's it, you know? And I know, like, if you're not an anxious person, hearing that sounded very simple, but it's really not. My job had allowed me to become kind of very out of my comfort zone, and then I kind of took like initiative in that. So I definitely start a lot of conversations now, and I'm not as like scared because I have a lot of human interaction, especially in like kind of like directing, you know. I take pictures and stuff, and I have to kind of tell people what to do a little bit, and it was never like that. I kind of just let things happen how they did, and I didn't want to kind of be like, oh, can you do this a little bit? And it's like, when you give someone a direction, or you're kind of telling someone what to do or asking, all they're gonna do is do it, or they'll rebuttal and be like, no, what? So that's that type of anxiety. I also have existential anxiety, like with the world falling apart and all that. And then there's this thing, it's like, when you're me, everything is always the end of the world. And yeah, so that is something that I definitely walk myself through. The motto I have is like, the worst thing that can happen is we die, you know? And that's not even the worst thing. That's kind of a beautiful thing. I have a lot of death anxiety. Not necessarily about it happening, but about things ending. And it's crazy because I don't even know how that even started from my childhood. Because like the last day of school, I would cry every day, or at the end of the day, songs made me cry, like from age 4. Like, and I feel like obviously, like, I've just been a sensitive person my whole life, and it's crazy. Like, I am a sensitive girl. And I feel like sometimes the world has like kind of tried to beat me down, because I really lead with kindness and sensitivity and empathy, because it's all that I have, and love. Like, if you lead with love, you're hoping to receive love, and then it's like, all right, that's not what they're giving. That's a personal problem on their end, you know? And that's how I kind of had to build that thick skin for it. And that's just what it is. And I'm going to say that because it's true. So if you are coping with anxiety, kind of try to breathe and rationalize it. That's what I have to do. Like, what's the worst that can happen, you know? Like, because everything is the end of the world when you're me, you know? So we are almost done with this row. Once we do this row, I'm going to finish up the back of my head, and then we're going to end it. So I'm going to give you guys some advice from a 22-year-old girl. Kind of when making any decisions. Decided to lead into myself. When I decided not to do school 4 years ago, I didn't know where it would take me now. I felt like I was going to make whatever happen, and I always will. That's just the type of person in life I've had to lead, is self-sufficiency. And that's my ultimate advice to anybody, is not trying to be hyper independent, but to be enough for yourself and have that faith in yourself. Truly, I feel like my parents really have been there for instilling so much like hope, desire, and belief in ourselves, that is probably the greatest thing I could have asked for, and I am very blessed and lucky to have had that and have that. So if you have no one to tell you to believe in yourself and do what you want to do, you have me. And then I want to talk about hobbies. I feel like I've always been a hobbyist. I've always been into certain things and kind of just wanting to make stuff and kind of just gravitated toward that stuff creatively. And then, I feel like super important that you to have things that you enjoy outside of things that get you paid or things and people who are always around you. Something that's kind of just for you. And my biggest go-to is always going to be reading. It's always going to be reading because it is traditional, it's beautiful, and there's so many fun books and like worlds to escape to. And that is one of my, I love reading down. So that's definitely one of my biggest hobbies. I also love scent combos. Like, honestly, check out my channel, girl. Like, we do it all here. Kind of self-care, scent combos, watching videos, niche topics, making puzzles, painting, listening to music. Like, really, like, in there in the studio, listening to music. You feel me? Like, there's just so many beautiful things that you can do for yourself. And you owe yourself that, you know? Becoming a gym girly or feeling like the gym is all that you have, it's like two sides of the same coin. It's like, girl, I need to do something else, but girl, I'm happy. I think if you're struggling hard to even come up with what your hobbies are or anything like that, I'd say just vibe. Like, it's never that serious. I definitely encourage them because they're fun, and it's like, why not? Like, this is your life, kind of like trying new things out and traveling, or even just researching different like places you may want to go, kind of the process, and then just being very in tune with kind of some of your goals and aspirations. Like, even if you think they're beyond, you know, anything, it's always worth a thought, because like you can have very niche information and strike up a random conversation with someone, and there you go. I feel like also a lot of things, like, we do need to be alone, but we also crave community as humans. So I think that's super important and easy to forget, is that even if you're not really finding things by yourself, you don't have to necessarily. You can find people who maybe like the one thing you like. Like, do you like new restaurants? You may not be that into food. Gym people, you know, like, y'all do have that in common. And, you know, you'd be very surprised by the types of personalities that just mesh, whether you have things in common or not. So I just deeply encourage you to find things that you like to do, whether it's alone or with other people. You feel like you don't even really have any goals, I encourage you to kind of make some, and not in a, oh, I want to do this, this, and this, but kind of like a very broad ideal of what your life may look like, or how you may want it to look like. I made this one Pinterest board almost 3 years ago, and it's honestly changed my life. It's called What Life Can Be and Will Be, and it is on private because it's very sacred to me, my goals and kind of how I envision my life. I had no actual goals. I did want to mentally with like even wanting to be here, so honestly that Pinterest board did some wonders. I kind of put like maybe the type of home I would love to decorate, and then like the type of foods I want in my life. Like, I want life to be sweet. I want a beautiful, you know, relationship. I want pets. I want more pets. I want self-care items. I want a really good relationship with my belief system, with God, the universe, my spirituality. I want my career, and kind of just even, I didn't even know what I wanted to do. Now I do, and that's crazy. But like, I just had my inspirations of things that just kind of intrigued me all on a board. And I was very happy to have that to reference back when I felt like I was kind of falling off of like trying to get better and feel better. It's amazing what visual representations can do, because to this day, at night when I'm like pretty like lost in the sauce, I check it out and I'm like, okay, this is what I want. Like, it's all gonna be okay, and I'm gonna get what I want and what I deserve, you know? There's this photo I have as the cover, and it's been the cover for the longest, which is crazy, because I change my covers like clockwork on Pinterest. But basically, the photo says, fuck normal, I want magic, and that is my motto. That was all it took. Like, I want what I want for Kennedy's life, and I don't have to explain it to anyone. Anytime I ever tried to explain what I wanted to anyone, they didn't give me the response that I wanted, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna stop doing that. I'm gonna beat around the bush when talking to people, because they always are trying to misconstrue or kind of interpret what I'm saying. I think it is because I kind of talk in code, but I think it's all out of a place of like protecting myself and the things that I want for myself. So that's definitely a factor with goals in the future, and kind of like just knowing them for yourself and kind of taking the steps toward that, whether that means kind of putting yourself out there for work, a relationship, spiritually, kind of seeing what those type of things look like. A big thing for me was like, I know I always gravitated towards spirituality, and I would listen to energy sounds, like the Hertz energy waves and vibrational waves, and meditate deeply, and that was all that I had knew. And I definitely wanted to dive more into the world, but I wasn't a big reader at the time yet, so I wasn't even thinking about that. I started thinking about like, okay, I like listening to these, I kind of want to hear some people behind it. Then I did some looking up and all that, and I listened to Ram Dass podcast. That's on Spotify. I've been listening to that for like 3 years basically, like a episode every other week or whatever the case may be. And I took notes on it because that was what I wanted to be aligned with, kind of some of those ideologies, and just kind of like becoming my best self for my future and for me. It's just the most beautiful thing is visual representations of your goals, vision boards, 110%. But that's why I really do like Pinterest specifically, because you can always rearrange, add on, take away, you know. And then like physical vision boards, I have mine for this year, and a lot of the things haven't happened, and I think it's because I've changed completely. Things have happened this year that I never would have imagined, but I probably should have expected, you know. And you know, you outgrow your goals, and that's why they didn't happen, because they weren't meant for you to happen like that. There may be greater things in store for you, or a completely different life than you pictured that is more fulfilling. And I just think that, like, I don't know if I'll ever do another vision board physically, because I have mine hanging up and I love looking at it, and I guess it is still like a vision board for my life, but I was very focused on obtaining these things this year, and it's the end of the year, and like things are done on that. But and I'm very proud of the things that I did accomplish this year so far. But certain things you just can't force to happen like that. Like, a lot of things just take time. They either will or they won't happen. And that's also a really big part of like kind of accepting that, okay, this is what is, and this is what will be. You know, we're gonna do like a speed round of things. My favorite TV shows: Gilmore Girls. I am a Gilmore Girl fan. The humor is actually really funny to me, and I think sense of humor is crazy and also very important on the dating scale. We can dive more into that later. I love Rain. It's like about France and I think the 1500s, yeah, with like Mary, Queen of Scots, and different things like that. Catherine de Medici, bro, that is just so good. I love that show. Francis and Mary's love is like the most ideal I've ever seen after Edward and Bella, personally, just cause like, yeah, if you know, you know, you like get it. If you've watched the show, you may not think that at first, but just stay tuned. It's like one of the best love stories ever. Gossip Girl is always a classic, like drama tea. Girlfriends, I've been rewatching Girlfriends, so good. Also a hot mess, but it's honestly just the reality of it all. My favorite songs right now, let's see. Songs that make me feel like, you know, like that girl and like kind of sexy lately is, ironically enough, like rap. Just crazy, but Ian 3.5 is fire. Makes you feel good kind of about like, because a lot of songs are kind of, you're the object of affection. A woman is the object of affection, and it's appreciated, honestly, on my end, until it gets to like a be so for real, like you're just objectifying and being rude, you know? Yeah, that's a mixed subject. And then a lot of Larry June and Dom Kennedy, it's just like the flow is insane and it's just such a vibe. So if you know, you know. My favorite scents right now are Victor and Rolf Flower Bomb. Love, love, love. Smells so good. I smelled the Bella Hadid nightcap today, and it's like her vanilla scent. It smells so good to me. There's like a ginger note in it, and it's so spicy, and I just want it now really bad because it smells so good. Sol de Janeiro is always gonna be my favorite. I like every single scent, like the original line, and then the Sol de Janeiro 59. Oh, fire, 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 fire. So hair is looking pretty good. We gotta do this back part. It's gonna be very speed round. I'm gonna put on Awkward. Awkward, the TV show, is so good. This is probably like my 8th time watching it in my life. I've watched this ever since it came out on TV. Like, that was what my sister was watching. So I'm about to watch a few episodes of that and finish my hair, and then I will be back to show you guys everything we did and we're done. It is 10:52, so that's pretty good timing. The back of my head looks crazy. What happens in the back is none of anyone else's business. I still do need to dip them. I like to do 2 braids and then dip them, and then I have like the waves that I kind of have all the time. So yeah, I just wanted to say thank you guys so much for watching this girl talk, and if you are wanting to see a part 2 where you guys actually ask me some questions, let's do it. I'm very down and looking forward to that. So I love you. Thank you for being here, and I will see you later.